Well, happy Wednesday, everyone. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you all back to Before the Four, where I talk about 48's top stories before our evening newscasts. And we have quite a few stories to jump into today. But anyway, if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 Sports Zone app. It just launched on July 1st, especially if you're a big sports fan, you like to keep up with the local teams here in the area. Make sure you download that. It is brand new, and it is inviting you to check it out. It is really awesome. I downloaded it the other day, and it's fun. So if you're a sports fan, you can download the 48 Sports Zone app. But this is Before the Four. If you're new to Before the Four, this is a live stream that I do on Facebook, YouTube, and the 48 live stream page, and I just go over some of the top stories. But with that said, I want to thank you for spending a little bit of your Wednesday afternoon with me. But I say it is about time we jump into some of our top stories. And starting things off, in the Shoals, Sheffield police say they are investigating a murder-suicide which happened last night. Now, according to authorities, it happened on Wilson Dam Avenue just after 10 p.m. When officers arrived on scene, they say they found 43-year-old Tommy Burchin. He was dead in a field near the home. Shortly after, officers say they found 34-year-old Raleigh LeMaster lying dead nearby from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police say the two men were buddies and former co-workers. They believe the two got into an argument over a woman. Now, once the investigation is over, Sheffield police say they will turn the case over to the Colbert County District Attorney's Office. And 48's Aria Pons will be bringing you the latest on this story coming up in our 4 p.m. newscast. So make sure you stick around for that. And now in Madison County, where the sheriff's office is still investigating a shooting that occurred yesterday. Now, this shooting left one injured. Officials say the shooting happened on Swancott Road around 5 p.m. yesterday. The person shot was transported to Huntsville Hospital for treatment. Both identities of the suspect and the victim both remain unknown at this time. But 48's Callie Neese, she's been in Triana today learning as much as she can, and she'll have updates for you all in our evening newscasts. Well, if you are looking for somewhere to volunteer this summer, the Food Bank of North Alabama here in Huntsville could be a great place to do so. Organizations like the Food Bank of North Alabama are currently seeing a spike in people needing help. The organization helps struggling families have something to eat. Now, yesterday we spoke with Food Bank CEO Shirley Schoenfield, who says as the city continues to grow, so does the number of people who go hungry.
Also have kids are out for school, and while there are some summer meal programs going on, there's not nearly as many as there used to be. So you have kids and their families now, trying to figure out their meals for them. It can really be devastating to a family's food budget to all of a sudden have to increase, the number of meals that they're providing for the kids, double sometimes and even more.
Well, thank you, Shirley. And now in some national news. It's been nearly a week since the first presidential debate between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. And after a shaky debate performance from the president, many, even within the Democratic Party, might be raising the question of whether or not President Biden is fit to continue serving. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez reports on the 2024 political situation. And let's take a listen.
Off camera at a Virginia fundraiser, President Biden apologizing for that disastrous debate, saying he wasn't very smart for traveling around the world a couple times before that showdown with former President Trump, and he quipped that he almost fell asleep on stage, adding it's not an excuse, but an explanation. The president returned to the U.S. from back-to-back trips to Europe 12 days before the debate. Meanwhile, this morning, a political dam may be breaking. One of the president's most important allies, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, acknowledging concerns about the president's debate performance.
I think it's a legitimate question to say, is this an episode or is this a condition? And so when people ask that question, it's completely legitimate of both candidates.
adding that both he and former President Donald Trump should take cognitive tests. While Pelosi is continuing to support President Biden, Congressman Lloyd Doggett of Texas is becoming the first elected Democrat to officially call for the president to leave the race.
We must call on him to give the ultimate sacrifice of saying that he will step aside because that's the best way to save our country.
As more Democrats question whether he should step aside.
It raised questions about his physical condition.
I don't think he's going to have a leg to stand on for very long.
The Washington Post reporting overnight that former President Barack Obama has expressed concerns, privately telling allies that his former VP's path to the presidency has now grown more challenging, according to people familiar with the conversation, but that Obama has offered support to Biden. The New York Times reports that in closed-door meetings in recent weeks and months, several current and former officials noticed the president increasingly appeared confused or listless, or would lose the thread of conversations.
I've got to say, that doesn't look anything like the president that I know. When I deal with him, he's sharp, he's asking tough questions.
As some Democrats look for a way forward, a new CNN poll suggesting that Vice President Kamala Harris may do slightly better in a matchup with Trump than Biden, though the difference is within the margin of error. Harris yesterday reaffirming her support.
Joe Biden is our nominee. We beat Trump once, and we're going to beat him again, period.
And now here in Huntsville, the family of a firefighter who was killed last year while saving the life of a child was recently gifted a mortgage-free home. Huntsville firefighter Kevin Rose, who you see on screen, actually you don't see him on screen, but he joined the force back in 2001. He's a former Huntsville firefighter. And then after serving for over 20 years, he passed away on June 23rd, 2023. New York Foundation Tunnel to Towers recently paid off the mortgage for his family's home. And yesterday I got the chance to speak with John Huvane, who is the vice president of the line of duty team at Tunnel to Towers. And let's take a listen to what he had to say about the legacy of Huntsville firefighter Kevin Rose. Can you speak a little bit about Kevin Rose and, from what you know, how much he meant to the Huntsville community?
Well, he grew up there, and he met his wife, who went to a rival high school, and the rest is history, as they would say. Stayed in that community. Paige had 3 children. They were raised in there, and he was heavily involved in youth sports, and also he was a church-going man. And this is an individual that was a credit to his community. He just was an amazing individual. I never met him, but just reading about him and learning about him, he was a special individual. And you know, we're talking an individual that, you know, served his community, but it's only been a year since his passing. And so this 4th of July, the children won't have their dad, and every other holiday. So, you know, the community, I know it's a very strong community, and that helps. And like what you guys are doing right now is great by never forgetting and talking about his name.
Truly incredible stuff there. And we reached out to the widow, Paige Rose, who also made a statement. And you can watch this full 48 Now interview with John Huvane and read Paige Rose's full statement on our website at WAFF.com. Now, in case you didn't know, tomorrow marks the 4th of July. And if you're looking for a place to watch some free fireworks, especially near the Athens Limestone area, one place you can go is Athens Middle School, where they are expecting 10,000 to be in attendance. Yesterday, I spoke with Holly Holman with the City of Athens on the fireworks show and what makes the Athens community so special for a display such as this one. And let's take a listen.
department usually prepares for up to 10,000 people to come and park to watch the show because it's a free event. And if it's a beautiful night, it's a great way to get out and hang out with your family and friends and make new friends that you may be sitting next to.
Wow. 10,000 people, that is incredible. But what makes Athens Middle School such an ideal location to host a 4th of July event such as this one?
They utilize the football stadium there, so it's a great place to have a safe fireworks show. The stadium's not open for seating, but people can come and park and gather there. We have 2 parks nearby. You have several schools nearby that allow people to park. And then some of the businesses will even allow people to park up and down US 31. So it's just a nice central location for everybody to safely watch the fireworks.
That is so awesome. And earlier you mentioned that 10,000 people are expected to head out there. Can you further talk about the Athens community and just what makes an event like this so special to them?
The great thing that I have found about Athens, because I moved here several years ago, is that they love a celebration. They love parades. They love gatherings downtown. They love getting together for the fireworks. It's a very friendly community. And of course, we're the fastest growing community in the state. So we have a lot of new folks that have moved in. And if you've never been to a fireworks show, it would be a prime opportunity for you to come out, meet some of your neighbors, meet other citizens that live here. And of course, we get a lot of visitors from Tennessee and the Shoals and other areas that want to come out to the fireworks show. And it's just a fantastic way to spend a night getting to know your community better.
Well, very cool. And if you are looking for a list of where you can watch some fireworks around the Tennessee Valley, you are in luck because right now I am on 48's website. It's WAFF.com if you were unaware. But here are all the places in the Tennessee Valley that you can watch some fireworks. And shout out Kate Norum, my coworker, for putting this together. Madison County, Wednesday, July 3rd. So that is tonight at 5 p.m. There will be a fireworks show at Dublin Memorial Park. But you can find this full list, and we have arranged it by county. So here's Morgan County, Marshall County, Franklin, Limestone, Lauderdale, and DeKalb. So just head over to WAFF.com, pull up this story, and this is where you can find all of the fireworks shows that are going on here in North Alabama. Now, in case you missed it, an extremely frightening situation in Arab, as there was a near drowning on Monday. 2-year-old Violet Satterfield is still fighting for her life in the hospital. Yesterday, 48's Nick Ballinger followed up on this story, and let's take a listen.
Because we need to shine the light in the darkness.
The darkness that fell on the Liberty Church family in Arab crept in last night when 2-year-old Violet Satterfield was pulled from a pool before she was airlifted to Children's Hospital in Birmingham.
It's hard. It's heartbreaking for us. Our hearts break for them.
Susie and Stephen Anmonson, youth pastors at the church where the Satterfields attend, prayed at Violet's bedside with her family in the hospital.
They're trying to stay strong. They're trying to stay hopeful. But they're heartbroken.
This community hopes Violet doesn't become yet another drowning-related death in the past couple of weeks. They have faith Violet can survive.
Violet is strong, and she is bold, and she is strong-willed, and she is spunky, and she is a fighter, and she's going to get through this.
It's that faith that led Violet's family to ask their church to host a prayer vigil.
It gives us hope and points us to what we really believe is the only hope, and that's Jesus.
The mayor, people in the community, and even the officers who were on the scene Monday night came together.
I'm not here as a mayor at this thing tonight. I'm here as a grandfather, a father, and a fellow Christian, just believer.
But even through darkness, just like the Anmonsons said, Pastor Keith Hodges has seen miracles before, and for Violet Satterfield, he hopes to see one again.
Support, and I hope really the family felt that. Above all things, I hope they saw that they're not alone. You know, we see miracles on a regular basis, and Violet, I think, is going to be another one of those miracles.
Well, she is certainly a fighter, and I am wishing her and her family a speedy recovery. They got this. Now, another story you may have missed. Leaders in Colbert County recently came together to decide on whether to implement the state's leash law or not. Now this comes after 83-year-old Willard Norton was attacked and killed by 2 dogs. 48's Aria Pons reports on the Colbert County Commission.
Several state and local leaders came together to discuss what the county could do to ensure that no other person or family has to go through this. They say they wanted to make sure that whatever plan they put into place, they could enforce. The conclusion they came to: the county needs stricter enforcement of containment laws for dogs, and they need to create a better plan for their animal control officers. Commissioners discussed that at today's meeting, saying they need to hire a certified animal control officer who can legally handle situations, hand out citations, and euthanize aggressive dogs if needed. State Representative Ernie Yarborough says that when he heard of the dog attack that took 83-year-old Willard Norton's life, he knew he had to join efforts to make changes. Yarborough says there were a lot of things that local leaders needed to look at before they could end up passing new regulations.
Where are we at? Why did this happen? Why are we not able to? And what do we need to do? Right. So once that process was executed, but for both of those meetings, we felt like that we had everybody on the same table and understanding as to why and what needed to be done. And what you saw today was the next step as a result, I think, in large part of those meetings.
Commissioners do say that they're very confident that by next week they could have those regulations passed and put in place. Reporting in Moulton, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Well, thank you, Aria. Now a really cool story about Conyers Roofing and Home Depot teaming up to help restore a local veteran's home after it was destroyed by a tornado back in early May. 48's Callie Canese has this story.
Bearded Warrior came out here on the 2nd of May. I looked at the dates on the 2nd of May, and they did all this great stuff with the fencing and everything. And then a week later, we had a tornado come through at 4 a.m., and it literally destroyed about 90% of the work they had done.
Paul DeAugustine is a family man and a war veteran who served for 17 years. He has been medically retired since 2021 and could not take on this big of a task all by himself. The Connors Roofing team teamed up with Home Depot and the Bearded Warriors to help reconstruct his home.
It's a special time of year, it's the 4th of July, so what better way could we say thank you than to help one of our local veterans?
And they got to work.
So here you can see we're putting on a new roof for the homeowner. Home Depot has come in and donated a fence and a new deck on the back.
This is just one of many Bearded Warrior projects helping veterans completely free of charge.
It gives you better hope in humanity, you know. Conyers Roofing came out and he just said, hey, you know, whatever the problem is, we're going to take care of it. You know, we just want y'all to take care and just relax. And when stuff like that happens, and it seems like it's one after another, stuff happens, and you have people that say, hey, don't worry about it, we got you.
Well, thank you, Callie. And now in a bit of state news. AAA Alabama say they are recommending trip insurance, especially during the hurricane season. Yesterday, WBRC in Birmingham spoke with AAA Alabama's spokesperson, Clay Ingram. Ingram was recently on vacation in the Dominican Republic when Hurricane Beryl passed. Now, after that experience, Ingram says he could not recommend insurance enough. And let's take a listen.
You know, it's typically around 8 to 10% of your overall travel expense. It differs depending on where you're going, how long you're going to be there, and believe it or not, it differs upon the age of the people that are traveling because it includes medical insurance.
Yes, make sure you get that trip insurance. Super important stuff to have, especially when you don't know what might be coming your way, such as Hurricane Beryl there. But thank you so much. Now, let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss. How to keep food safe during any 4th of July cookout you might be going to or hosting. The latest on the Freedom Celebration in Scottsboro. Gas prices ahead of the holiday weekend. A recall on liquid eggs, and also a story that we live streamed actually on our Facebook page just a few minutes ago. Authorities are investigating cyber attacks on Alabama State Department of Education. They hosted a press conference at 3 o'clock today and revealed quite a bit of information about cybersecurity. So make sure you check out this on our website, WAFF.com, and we will also have the latest on this story in our evening newscast. And another thing you're not going to want to miss, the first alert forecast from meteorologist Chelsea Aaron to see how the weather might pan out for your 4th of July plans. You're not going to want to miss it. And now it is time for Facebook Fun. And if you don't know what Facebook Fun is, this is where 48 News, usually around 11:45, around noon, we will ask a question on Facebook, and we do this every single day, and you all typically respond to the question with your comments very accordingly. So without further ado, I think it is time we pull up today's question. And we asked, where are you heading to see fireworks? You saw earlier the list of all the fireworks. Don't make me pull it back up again. You can find, if you're just now joining in, you can find a full list on WAFF.com and it's arranged by counties of where you can see fireworks. But let's see what you all had to say. Michelle said, tonight at First Baptist Colbert Heights, it starts at dark. So if you're around that area, that could be a place you could see some awesome fireworks in the sky. Michelle, thank you so much for commenting. Terry said she is going to stay home and keep her dogs calm. That is probably a smart thing to do. You know, those little fur balls, they get scared when they hear loud noises. And I see your dog, Terry. Actually, I don't know if that's your dog, but I see a dog in your profile picture. He is very cute. But Terry, thank you so much for commenting. And Diane said she is going to watch them at Lake Gunnersville out on her boat. Diane, where's my invite? I love boats. I'm just kidding. But Diane, thank you so much for commenting. I greatly appreciate it. And that is all I have for you all today on Before the Four. I'm letting you out a little bit early, but I hope you all enjoy tonight's newscast. If you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 Digital app. Same goes with the 48 First Alert weather app, and also the 48 Sport Zone app, which just launched a few days ago. Make sure you turn on those push notifications and get all the breaking news delivered directly to you. But with that said, that is just about all the time I have. I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Do something fun, but make sure you keep all of your fingers. I do not want to hear any stories about fingers getting blown off with all these Roman candles and all these fireworks that might be here. But I hope you all have a great rest of your week. And with that, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.